Welcome back, everyone, to a new session of Banks Wants You to Know, your source for financial discipline and literacy. So, as we start to set things up and gain our footing for this new year of 2025 in the form of New Year's resolutions, we've been brainstorming, we've been writing down, been declaring and decreeing our goals to achieve with an aim to make this year better than the last. Maybe those goals are financially related, such as saving more, you want to get out of debt, or just making more money. Just to name a few examples, there are plenty of them out there. I do know of a common motivation to having these money goals coming into this year without much of it. Unfortunately, that's simply just the reality of it. The lack of something that you really desire will result in making a stronger effort to get more of what you really want out of life. Sometimes that can lead to doing things in an evil manner, especially when money is involved. But I'm here to show what can be done in a positive light, in a positive manner, to achieve a better result. So let's take your minds, let's rewind to about a month or month and a half ago and think about it. What was your thought process like? How were you feeling? Was it excitement? Was it jubilation? Or was it stress, disappointment? There's definitely a wide range of emotions throughout the holidays. That's not limited to just our financial situation. But just to stay on topic here, we'll stick to the giving and receiving part of Christmas that involves our financial situation. Of course, most of us may be excited, may be intrigued when it comes to expecting gifts. But what about when it's your turn? When it's time to return the favor to your family and your friends? I'm sure the stressful side of things will kick in at some point. Maybe you're saying to yourself, you're looking at various things and you're like, these prices are too high this year. Or I had something big that happened back in June. I may struggle to get everything that everyone wants this year. Or simply, as a family member used to say, hey, my money's funny. Either way, most of us probably wound up overextending ourselves again, or at least extending our wallets, to kind of keep up with the expectations of the holidays and of those around us. So, got a personal story for you. I've been there before. An interesting fact about myself is I like to be the giver more than the receiver when it comes to Christmas gifts. So the first year of my professional career was a tough one as I was trying to adjust to adulting on a minimal salary. So that year, I just wasn't able to get as many presents, as many gifts for my loved ones. I believe I made it up. I made up for it with more sentimental things such as writing Christmas cards, things like that. And just pretty much showing up for them in other ways. So fast forward a few years after that, once I gained my footing with my career and my finances, I had developed a higher expectation of providing gifts. But there was one problem. That year, my funds just wasn't as prepared or planned out as they had been before. So I turned to credit cards to buy the rest of those gifts that actual money cannot buy. Now I want you to pay attention to what I just said there. We'll definitely go more into credit cards at another time, but that's a way you can get into a trap with credit cards. What a mistake that turned out to be, but luckily I paid what I owed later on and then came up with a plan for spending in future holiday seasons. So with that being said, I want to be able to show you 3 discipline tips to start off the year on the right foot and be more prepared for this 2025's holiday season. So the first word of advice that I have for you all today is to avoid applying for the loan. Yeah, it's tempting. It is. But I got a disclaimer about myself when it comes to loans. Borrowing money for money is not a viable solution in my book. The only way it works is if it's for a debt consolidation loan, which takes multiple debts, pays them off, and then leaves you with one lump sum to pay. Hopefully we can dive a little bit more into that as well. But the loans with the collateral, which is like a car or a house or anything that's attached to it, those are the ones that have value. I believe going for a loan is a reactionary move that can start an endless cycle. This notion can be true also for payday advance loans. Once you're in that cycle of the convenience of getting paid before your payday, getting paid before everyone else, it's hard to get out of it. Before you know, you're getting less and less from your actual paycheck because some of it is actually going to the loan. It's going to that high interest loan that you accepted. Also, speaking of interest, which is a percentage of the total loan, companies will attach that to that loan that goes to the company as profit or operating expenses, etc., etc. Interest on those types of loans are higher due to the lack of collateral on that loan, which is why I say, hey, watch out for them. Don't do them. While most think a loan can kind of, get their head above water, catch them up, it only really does that temporarily. It creates another bill, creates another payment that uses money that could have been used for something else, such as a savings account, or even something fun that you would like to do down the road. So unless it's totally necessary, let's stay away from those signature loans, and those payday advance loans. So on to tip number 2, which is reviewing your statements, reviewing your account activity from 2024. So as I mentioned in the previous video, when we get on the road to financial discipline, we'll have to move a little slower, a little more methodical in our practice. So an element of this is taking the time to review your account, looking at what and where you spent your money on. There are a lot of ways that this could be done. Hey, there's probably even an app out there that could categorize your transactions and place them into a pie chart and let you see where your money is being spent. I don't know this for sure, but hey, I wouldn't be surprised. Check it out. But I would look for key points, such as your bills, your groceries, where you're dining out, your subscriptions, and your services. This will be a year in review for you, financial style. So doing this will allow you to mainly see where your money is being wasted, simply put. You may decide to cancel a few subscriptions, see who may can cut or style your hair at a lower price, or notice, hey, I'm paying too much for car insurance. Let's see where I can get a lower rate. Just some examples to kind of trigger your brain to think about and apply to your own account. There's plenty of other examples as well. So let's do a review on our spending to cut out some of the bad habits and go on to building good habits. Let's avoid doing the same things over and over again and expecting a new result. So now to our last piece of advice that I have for you all. Opening up a savings account for your holiday funds. That way you'll be better prepared for the holiday season of 2025. Your bank, your credit union, other financial institutions that you may be using may specifically have a holiday or a Christmas account for you. This account will either take a percentage or a certain dollar amount each time you get paid and move it into the account, allowing it to build to a desired amount until the end of the term, which is commonly, the end of October. So you can start your shopping in November, to get prepared for those Black Friday sales or pre-Black Friday sales. So back to my personal story. I opened one of these accounts a few years ago, and I must say it definitely relieved the stress that I've had in previous years when it comes to holiday shopping. So yeah, it may leave you a little bit less in your net pay that you had before, but the goal of this is to kind of frame your mindset into like enhancing and investing into your long-term goals or to what's better for the future. So let's do a little math. Let's do a math example right quick about how holiday funds will build into your account. So on to my personal story. I believe now every time I get paid about $25 bi-weekly. And to kind of move it into terms of months, that's $50 a month from my main paycheck that goes into this holiday account. All right. And we're going to use 10 months because from January to October, that's 10 months, leaving the last 2 months of the year, November and December, ready for you to spend the money. So that's 50 times 10. You got a good head start of $500. I'm gonna call it easy money. Easy money to start out with. You can add funds to it like in November, December. But it's just a big stress reliever to have this money already ready for you when you start your holiday shopping. Now, I also mentioned percentage. Um, let's say you make your net pay is $3,000 a month, and let's just say you want to use 5%. 5% of 3,000 going into this holiday account each month. So I'm gonna come over here to the side. And do 0.05, which is another way of saying 5%. Little old school math trick here. Maybe taking a shortcut, but you carry the decimal 2 places, and you are doing $150 a month. That's how much that is going into the holiday account. Big start, big amount, right? I would agree so. Multiply that by 10 months. Look at that, grand total of $1,500 to start out your holiday shopping. Much more than what I have. Now, many people may not be able to do 5%, but you do an amount that's comfortable for you. And for me, it was $25. It could be 20. It could be any more, any less, whatever you feel comfortable with doing to build to that desired amount that I was explaining earlier. But it's really beneficial. It's really beneficial for y'all to do, and it's really gonna help. It's really gonna help you all down the road. You'll just be better prepared. You'll come into next January without much debt, without lack of funds, things like that. So having a savings account for holiday spending can create flexibility. Like you could either use the funds that you've saved all for the holiday on presents. You can use much less funds from the later months, like in November and December, or you can even roll over what you didn't use, into a new savings account. I recommend using this method in all situations, but definitely if there's something specific that you want to get for yourself, for your children, or another family member that may come at a high cost. Of course, in most cases, we really wouldn't know what exactly someone wants now in January, but we could at least be a little better prepared, for what somebody may ask for. So it truly does seem that we live in a world where we race through the year in this rat race. We're trying to support ourselves, we're trying to support our family with what we have. Then the race ramps up like 10 times faster come November. Then we're burnt out and we're left kind of limping into the new year, wondering what's next for our finances. So if we're left with no money, or we're left with a lot of debt, I'm hoping and praying for you all to build good and positive habits in this new year. Which brings me to the verse of this session, which is Isaiah chapter 43, verses 18 through 19, which states, "Forget the former things, do not dwell on the past. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? I am making a way in the wilderness and streams in the wasteland." That's really prophetic. Isaiah was a prophet who spoke to the Israelites through hearing the word of the Lord. He spoke to people through a tumultuous time, through battles, wars, just sin and unfaithfulness to God. But yet God still showed mercy to his people through protection, through promises, and through encouragement. When it comes to our finances, we can allow God to use us to create that new thing this year, a new way to handling our money and feeling a lot better about the use of it. Gone are the days when we spent money out of control, without a guide, without a plan, leading to bills not being paid and just other really dire consequences. Now a brighter future is ahead for all of us. His wisdom and his understanding will get us there. Once again, I want to thank you all for joining me for another session of Banks Wants You to Know, where financial discipline equals financial success. And I will see you next time with another thing I want you to know. Thank you all.